am here with an influential filmmaker, a filmmaker who made a film that was one of the most influential films, I would argue, of the last decade, The Kashmir Files. He's back now with another movie that promises to be just as influential, called The Vaccine War. And I'm very happy to be welcoming back to the show Vivek Agnihotri. Vivek, welcome to the show.
Thank you, thank you. Always a delight to be talking to you.
And I appreciate the time. I know the tour's been, I can imagine it's been hectic. I wanted to ask you about the tour actually, because the last film promotional tour that you did for the Kashmir Files, I can imagine that tour was probably, extremely emotional. I mean, we saw the videos, we saw the public reaction. It was I can imagine, a very emotional tour. How has this tour been different, if at all?
Yeah, it's a tour, so that way it is the same thing, but then it's very, very different in approach, style, everything. See, the whole thing started because we don't have the kind of marketing muscle or the budgets which is required, so we said the best thing is take the film to people. Okay, let people see it, and it gives us time also to tweak film here and there and correct it. Like just couple of days ago, I made a little two three tweakings in the final film.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I do it. I start with a longer film and slowly I cut, and I crystallize it to a.
Oh, wow.
It's a
Is
traits.
that do you, is that standard in the industry, or is that something that you do?
No, 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 nobody. I don't think anybody in this world would
Acha.
do that. Yeah. See, people generally show it to their friends inside the studio. Okay, and I don't think in the history of cinema anybody would take their film, any director worth his salt would take a film 3 months or 4 months in advance and show it to cross section of target audience, cross section of people. For
Right.
example, like in Houston, we had lots of scientists and doctors. In Dallas, we had more business people. In San Francisco, IT people, young lot, different. LA was more little snooty, different kind of people. So in every city, Chicago was more this nationalistic, patriotic diaspora because Chicago is also hub of Pakistani
Yeah.
narrative machine. New York was again senators, congressmen, white people, cross section of different ethnic community. So in every city, we are showing it to house full of 300 people plus to cross section of target audiences. So that gives me a chance to actually it becomes a barometer and it makes me understand where it is working, where it's not working, and also our films are not made out of compulsion to make money at box office. Our films are made for a purpose. We have a mission. We have a reason why we are making it. So if we are making it for the people and people are not connecting with it, then what's the point of making it?
Yeah.
But it's been a very hectic tour this time because if we are time is compressed. Last time
Mm.
during Kashmir Files, since the COVID was on, so we were going a little slow. But this time we are running day and night. We finished the screening. Next morning we fly. Like today, we
Wow.
just landed from Bangalore. I sometimes we even forget which city we are in. So yeah,
Do you know which city you're in today?
yet now I know it's Hyderabad.
Um, so obviously, when the after the Kashmir files, there was so much, anticipation. Okay, what is Vivek going to do next? Because Kashmir files was so impactful. It made such an impact in India, societally, politically, culturally. It made such an impact. And after that, when you announced the vaccine war, I wanted to know what was the inspiration behind making a movie about the Indian vaccination program.
Okay, so I'll tell you very, very honestly. I mean, see what happened. We started working on this subject, researching it before the Kashmir files released.
Oh
So
wow.
yeah, so I was very fascinated with the fact that on in March 2020, every single person on this planet was thinking about life and death, and mostly about death. And then after 9 months, suddenly there was a vaccine, and then people forgot about it, and they were on revenge shopping, revenge holidaying, and life became normal, and people started doing things more than they would do earlier. So I said it's a great superhero movie. Who are these? When the whole world was saying that India will fail in this attempt, and a lot of people in India were trying to sabotage the vaccine project, which we can discuss later because that's a very a different issue altogether. But anyway, to summarize it, so I said, who are these wonderful superheroes? And that's how I started. Everybody thought that it's only Bharat Biotech or Serum, but then we realized they are basically mass producers and distributors and marketers. But the candidate and the formula was made inside BSL-4 lab. So that's when we started talking to ICMR scientists and National Institute of Virology scientists, people who initiated and made the vaccine, and people who were behind the vaccination drive of India. Uh, but my idea was to make it later on because I never thought that Kashmir Files would ever become such a big hit. So I thought let the research go on and let's keep it as a probable, one of the probable subjects after the Delhi Files, in case this works out as a good script. But then Kashmir Files became such a huge box office wise very hit, and it also got a lot of conversation around it. And so, what I want to tell you very honestly is that anybody in his right senses would have made Kashmir Files Part 2. But then Pallavi and I took a very deliberate decision. We said expectations are so high, people want us to repeat the same thing. And then what's the point? What's the difference? I mean, we say we are disrupting the typical Bollywood kind of filmmaking, and we are independent filmmakers, and we definitely have a mission in our mind. Then what's the point of making that? So we made a smaller film. Kashmir Files was, if it was 15 crores, we made a 12.5 crore films, and we struggled again, and through all those struggle, it's a lot of struggle when you make small films. So we went back and we consciously decided to make a smaller film, but a more impactful film. We said we cannot keep bringing all these sad stories to people. It's time to bring a happy, inspiring, and story full of pride. So it's another thing that people cry because film is so emotional, but at the end of it, you feel so good about yourself and about the people around you. You say, because see, ultimately, what else human beings want? They want is that I can survive, I can live. The real success is that you are surviving, anthropologically
Right.
speaking. And second thing is you are happy and you are proud of what you are doing. You know your worth. So all these emotions the film is creating. It was a very difficult film, more difficult than Kashmir Files, and I am
Wow.
happy that it is connecting more strongly than Kashmir Files with people.
In what way, if I may ask, did you find it more difficult than Kashmir Files? Because I would imagine that, making a film, even getting a film like Kashmir Files made in a country like India with the political atmosphere that used to exist was a miracle in itself. And so you're saying that this was even more difficult to make than Kashmir Files.
See, Kashmir Files was painful, but technically or script-wise, it wasn't as difficult because there was an inherent emotion in it, pain, okay, suffering, and people. And see, the jargon of Kashmir Files is everyday conversation: death, loss, attack, religion, terrorism. So people have ideas about these. When I say terrorism, you have certain image which comes to your mind. Okay, but here, if I say, if I, if I say a virus, you don't know how it looks like. If I say virology, we did a research. Yeah, Sham, this is very interesting. When we started the film, we collaborated with Indian Institute of Management, and we asked them to do research on the awareness levels of people, what they think. So as we assume, most of the people think Bharat Biotech is the only company or Serum is the only company that made the vaccine. Nobody knows that there is something called National Institute of Virology and a BSL-4 lab inside which you do all these kind of things. So, and more than 90% of the people had no idea that the virus because of which everybody was thinking that they are going to die, and the vaccine because of which everybody started living again, all comes under the science of virology. So people don't even know about virology. Forget about anything else. I don't know how they pronounce it in America, virology or what, but the scientists I work with call it virology.
Sure.
So the science of virology, nobody knew. Okay, so for us to understand, then make it very, very simple. Then the whole subject is so cut and dry. There is no drama, no emotion, no thrill because it's a vacuumed lab in which you are wearing these space suit kind of things, cabled with a
And heavy,
wire.
heavy scientific jargon as well, right? A lot of the
Very,
scientific
very
terms that
scientific
people probably
jargon.
won't understand.
Very scientific jargon. Another biggest problem cinematically, the biggest problem is you don't see the villain. Your villain is invisible. Okay? Your heroes are all covered up in masks and everything. They don't move about. They don't go out. They are locked in one place. Most 60% of the film people are acting with the mask, and the PP kits and all those kind of things. You can't even see faces. Okay, there is nothing to talk except for, okay, I did this test and I've done this experiment, I've done a primate test and very technical jargon. So that's why it was very difficult. Another biggest challenge was that I didn't want to go anywhere close to COVID. We had decided this is not a COVID film. It's not a film about the suffering of COVID. This film is about achievers, super achievers, superheroes. It's a story of victory. When the whole world was saying India can't do it, okay, there were a bunch of people who said, no, we must do it. And eventually they did it. And so India can't do it culture versus India can do it culture. Now it's again a very difficult thing to explain in cinema. So, but we ended up doing it pretty successfully. It seems like that.
No, definitely, and people seem to be connecting with it already, and to be able to, like you said, make a film that is so full of technical jargon. It is such a scientifically dense movie, and to create a sense of feeling among the audience. I mean, I can imagine that how that would be difficult, because Kashmir Files already was such an emotionally charged topic that it will grab you. It has a very good potential of grabbing you anywhere because it's such a strong topic. The- What did throughout your research, because I can imagine the research process must have been pretty rigorous as well.
Yeah.
Throughout your research, was there anything surprising that you found, or was there anything that sort of was like, oh wow, what was that all about? Was there anything surprising?
Every single thing. Every
Oh
single
wow.
thing. First of all, I didn't know that it's the science of virology. Even I didn't know,
Ah,
right? That was surprising. Then every information which came about the origin of the virus, that kept surprising us. But then there were a lot of debate around that, so I had few ideas, at least. But then what India went through, okay, how we made this vaccine, like for example, nobody knows that our scientists were sent to war zone in Iran, you know yeah, to get 6,000 Shia Muslims, 1,200 Shia Muslims from Kargil had gone there. So like Sunni Muslims go to Makkah, so Shia people go to Qom, and they got stuck there and they had to be brought back. So the scientists played the role of soldiers to bring them back. I mean, this is a story which I think itself is worthy of a feature film. Uh,
yeah.
then when we wanted monkeys, without trying on monkeys, you cannot make the vaccine. There were no monkeys.
Right.
And how do you get monkeys? So normally you can go to a temple in India or a tourist place or anywhere and you can catch monkeys. But because of the lockdown, there was no food, no tourists, so all the monkeys had went deep into
Oh.
forest. And when they had to get the monkeys, so most of the monkey catchers are Muslims, but there were some Ramzan, Rosa, or something was going on, and they were not available. So scientists had to go to the jungle and to get monkeys from there.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So this itself again is a film by itself.
Yeah.
So lots, so lots and lots of things like that. But what really shocked me was I also used to be of the opinion that why India was struggling unnecessarily and experimenting with our own vaccine. Is it just because of nationalism we are making it, or what? Just to prove a point that hey, listen, we are self-reliant. Why didn't we take Pfizer or Moderna? Why didn't we take any foreign vaccine? It was
A lot
simple.
of politicians also made that point. कि
Yeah.
Pfizer खरीद लो जल्दी से.
Yeah. Especially Arvind Kejriwal and all these the
Yes.
entire gang of these negative people. Uh, but I was shocked and surprised that despite being so socio-politically aware, I had no clue that for last 70 years, all these pharma lobbies and the vaccine companies have been arm twisting and blackmailing Indian government. And all the vaccines have been coming late. And we are selling interests of the nation just because we had a this we can't do it kind of a culture or kind of a mindset. Another thing which shocked me was that you can look at Pakistan and China as enemy countries, but what do you do if your own people, somebody who's sitting next to you in an aircraft, he's the enemy of the country? How do you know? Or the very celebrated journalist or a highly celebrated, acclaimed authors, writers, historians,
Right.
intellectuals, and public intellectuals, they are working against the interest of the country just for a few bucks or for their grudges or their political agenda. That was very depressing and very, very, for me, that actually that motivated me to make this film. I wanted A, on one hand, without getting into a political narrative, I wanted the audience to understand, expose this entire toolkit lobby, the gang, and also make them feel proud and feel inspired that yes, if you
Hmm.
want, you can do it.
I want to stay on that topic for a second because I agree with you in the sense that I found it very disconcerting. At a time where our scientists are working around the clock to develop these vaccines that were ultimately able to protect so many crores of Indians, why were these scientists being ridiculed? Why was India being ridiculed? कि अरे ये देखो vaccine बना रहे हैं, they're trying to make their own vaccine. Haha, let's see how successful it'll be. Why you should have just gone and bought Pfizer. Why do you think there was a coterie of people that didn't want India to develop the vaccine or have a successful vaccination program, or were basically carrying out a funeral of the vaccination program before the vaccination program had even started in earnest? Like,
Yeah.
is it just because ki, acha, we don't like the political party, so we would rather see the country suffer? Or what do you think that is behind it? What kind of ideology is
Okay,
that?
this is my understanding, and I want to say it without beating around the bush. I want to say it very, very candidly. Okay, this is my understanding. Okay, and it's a perception, it's an opinion. I don't have any scientific theorem to prove it. So I don't want somebody tomorrow saying, "Oh, Vivek says without this thing." This is my personal understanding, and my understanding is pretty better than a lot of people now after working on this for 2 years. Okay, when COVID came, okay, a lot of people said, aha, now people are going to die. India has no,
Hmm.
we have no medical infrastructure. So now this government is going to get cornered. And this is the easiest way to defeat Narendra Modi. Okay, because elections they couldn't do it earlier, and
Right.
that's how everything started. This was the triggering point. The whole thing started from here. Then other than pharma lobby, vaccine lobby, international lobbies, and a whole lot of people got involved. That's another thing, but that's how it started. Okay, and then they actually wanted India to fail. Then lots of research agencies. There was, if you remember, there was a report of Johns Hopkins with Princeton University, which predicted that about 20, 40 crore people would die, and and after that, um, everybody, the major one very eminent journalist also interviewed this, and it became like talk of the town, and there was a lot of fear mongering, and there was panic and insecurity. Uh, but then all these, the usual suspects got onto this bandwagon and they started shouting that everybody is going to die and India has no medical infrastructure and this government doesn't know how to
Yeah.
protect its own citizens. After some time, it turned out to be a fake news. Then Princeton and Johns Hopkins they issued official communique saying that no, we don't even know where it has come from. We never made it. Maybe somebody put our stamp on it. Okay, nobody reported that. Nobody reported that. Everybody reported a fake news, but nobody reported when it was like
Clarification.
when the clarification came. So these kind of things kept happening, and when India, see, our Lockdown started on 22nd of March, I think, 2020. But the vaccine project started very confidentially and secretly in the month of February, early February. Nobody knows this. And the entire process was hastened up. You'll see the film. I don't want to talk much. You'll understand how it happened.
Sure.
But then we ended up making our vaccine as the fastest indigenous vaccine. And we, January 7th, we started rolling out the vaccine. Then, but in the interim, these people tried every kind of tool and technique they had in their hand to sabotage this. They started writing articles, okay, fake articles. Eventually, Telangana court ordered the Wire. The Wire is a website in
Yeah.
India. They ordered them to pull down all these 14 articles, not one, 14 articles. We said it's a substandard vaccine, it won't work, it will kill people, why there was no second trial or third trial and all those things without telling people why there was a third trial. All it was a very smart move. India जुगाड़ जो है ना बड़ा अच्छा इनोवेट किया हम लोगों ने. What they did, see, normally the process is phase 1, then phase 2, then phase 3. It takes a lot of time. They said, but these are independent trials, so why not do them parallel, 1, 2, 3, like that. Okay, so they took advantage of these things and confused the people, confused the audience and the general public, and create fear.
Right.
Then they said, why are you testing on monkeys? Why are you doing this? They kept questioning all the time. Then what happened? The vaccine became successful. India also started sending vaccine to other helpful, needy countries where America refused to give it to anybody. Britain refused to give to anybody, but India did. That gave India a lot of goodwill in the global market. Okay, and India started emerging as a strong player in this pharma, very closed door elite club of pharma lobbies, and countries like US started looking at India in a different light. Okay, I'm talking purely from medical and this thing. India had no masks, no PP kits, no ventilators. We became the largest exporter by the end of it, of masks. And so India worked very quickly. These people could digest. They said, oh, this is going to make this government stronger. This is going to make Modi a
Yeah.
much stronger person. That second wave came. Nobody in this world could have controlled it. It came unexpectedly, and that Delta variant was very fast moving, this thing. Then they used that as an opportunity. Like Delhi government, okay, that Delhi government played a very dirty role. They increased the requirement by 4 times, so that people feel that there is no oxygen. That was wrong. Supreme Court audit report says that.
Yeah.
Lot of political parties, in the name of philanthropy and public service, started hoarding oxygen. Can you believe it? You remember there are a lot of people who are saying, if you need oxygen, we'll give it to you. I don't want to name, everybody can figure it out. It's so easy to know their names. Okay. So, so all this happened. Then they internationally tried to give India disrepute and discredit the vaccine by publishing those funeral pictures. That was
Yeah.
very, very vulgar. I would say, I shouldn't be using that word, but what you want to call it, funeral pornography or whatever you want to call it. But
That's exactly what it was, Vivek. It
yeah,
was death porn. That's
death porn,
exactly
yeah,
what it was.
death porn, yeah.
It was misery porn. It was death porn. That's what they were playing. Could you imagine, Vivek, any media house of any repute trying to do that in an American cemetery?
No,
They
never.
would get kicked out of the country. It would be a HIPAA violation, first of all. It would be illegal to do that. You can't go into a cemetery and film dead people. That's a violation of American law.
Yeah,
आप तो ऐसे भी नहीं कर सकते.
yeah.
But socially भी, they would kick you out the next day. But in India, because अच्छा गरीब देश, developing country तो चलता है. And it got support from massive sections of the Indian media.
Yeah, yeah, and see, anyway, see, they're smart. These people are smart. They're smarter than the right wing people. Let me tell you one thing. This I know. I've been on the left. I know that they're far, because they know creativity. They understood that the fire, it's per se is very scary thing. Okay, in India you see a lot of fire here and there. The Western kid, he doesn't see fire on day-to-day basis. For him it's a very, and he's not used to Indian customs. They thought, what's happening, hundreds of people are burning. They couldn't fathom what was happening. And
They almost thought that the government was trying to hide the evidence because they're burning the bodies, burning the bodies.
burning the bodies,
Yeah.
they're burning the bodies. And they, why, acha, tell me something, only did in only Hindus die? Why didn't they show the graves, you
They
know?
didn't go to a Christian cemetery or a
Yeah, no
Muslim
graves,
cemetery.
no graves, no mass graves. There were mass graves, nobody reported them. Then they started selling these pictures. I think that hurt me a lot. Okay, fine, you show it, it's fine, but so would it be wrong to assume that these people are mass murderers in a way? Emotional murderers. Now we call it emotional truth after Hassan Minaj's thing. So they created. So
Glad you brought that up.
yeah, I read one of this lady journalist yesterday. She was talking about emotional truth and how bad it is and how wrong and unethical it is. But she was the one who was reporting all these funerals, sitting over there, putting a laptop on a bucket, as if, creating drama around it. She was creating emotional truth, right? And now they have a problem with emotional truth of Hassan Minhaj. There is no difference between these two people. They are the same animal. They are the same animal.
Yeah. You know, as the vaccination program was rolling out, there was immediately, like you said, dozens of articles, dozens of media people immediately came out and started casting doubts on the vaccine. It doesn't work, mat lo. You know, they started telling people, mat lo vaccine. Don't take the vaccines because it doesn't work. It'll give you a heart attack and it'll kill you. Like imagine that. You know,
Yeah.
गरीब लोगों को यार काम पे जाना है. गवर्नमेंट अब लॉकडाउन में बेचारे काम पे भी नहीं जा सकते. वैक्सीन ले कम से कम काम पे तो लगे, लेकिन नहीं. आप घर में बैठो, घर पे घर के अपने लोगों को खाना पिलाना मत करो, ठीक है? Stay unemployed, go hungry, while the journalists that are sitting in AC bedrooms will tell you vaccine मत लो, मर जाओ.
Do you know
It's incredible.
in one village, Barabanki, which is near Lucknow, okay, they spread so much. They said if you take this vaccine, you'll become important. To villagers. So when the vaccination people went there, the volunteers went there to vaccinate them, the entire village jumped into river. The entire village jumped into river.
Wow.
you know and in Kerala, so many people, they said, okay, you'll get important, so they climbed trees, all these nariyal coconut trees. And there are reports, it's an international report, not Indian report, therefore these people can't even doubt it, which says that Indian vaccination workers are the most attacked workers in the world. They would throw, okay, stones at them, they'll beat them up. You have seen those videos, what was happening over
Oh
there.
yeah.
So all, and who created this? Okay, when people like, say, Arvind Kejriwal stand up and say that our vaccine is not safe and we should get imported vaccine. Somebody says I won't take BJP vaccine. Or
Yeah.
when people like Shashi Tharoor and Rahul Gandhi and all these people, see, whatever said and done, but they have some constituency. It's not that they have zero constituency.
Right.
So together, and then came all these so-called intellectuals and thinkers and creative people. Bollywood people jumped into this thing without knowing, with no clue. It's like the famous CA thing. भाई आप क्यों कह रहे हैं फाइजर लेना चाहिए? पता नहीं, सब कह रहे हैं इसलिए
Yeah.
मैं भी कह रहा हूँ. That kind of thing. Lots of starlets
सब
who have,
लगाए हुए इसलिए मैं भी आया
हाँ
हूँ.
मैं भी आया हूँ. तो lots of starlets started saying that, started creating not vaccine hesitancy. Of course it did, but it also, people lost faith in our own vaccine. Then the biggest blow came when WHO did not and CDC did not approve our vaccine. When America opened up on 4th of December or 4th of November, I think first week of November, they didn't give it to Indian. So thousands and thousands of Indian students got stuck because of that.
Yeah.
At that time, these scientists, then they went on overdrive and they started writing on Lancet and information. They said Infowar has to be fought with Infowar. So they went and they convinced, published reports everywhere, data, efficacy data, and all that. And then finally we got it, the emergency approval.
Why do you think, Vivek, that initially the US government was hesitant on our vaccines?
Because these people spread a lot of misinformation around it. Okay.
It was related to that, you think?
Yeah, related to that. And I don't know if I can say that, I mean, but I don't know, I don't have any evidence to prove it. But it could be also because it's a very strong lobby. See, there are two lobbies,
Yeah.
arms lobby and pharma lobby. You can spend couple of lifetimes to understand their politics. They are the quietest mafia of the world. quietest. I mean, you never bother about them. Everybody blames Elon Musk and Silicon Valley or George Soros. These are visible people. People also attack Gates,
Yeah.
Bill Gates. But pharma lobby and arms lobby is so quiet, how it works. And they are the real puppeteers. Lots of governments do what they want them to do, you know.
Right.
And which is why you see WHO has sent their the committee of experts to China twice, not once, twice, and both the times their report remains inconclusive. What does it say?
Yeah. Yeah. Very interesting that both times it was inconclusive.
Yeah.
Patani, and maybe send a couple more scientists if you want to reach some conclusions. But yeah, it was very interesting. But you know what ultimately is so interesting about India's vaccination program is because everybody's like, oh, it's such a big chaotic democracy, you know, and China can vaccinate people because it's an authoritarian country, तो जबरदस्ती पकड़ के vaccinate कर सकते हैं. But in India, despite being a noisy, chaotic democracy and all of that, it had one of the most successful vaccination programs on planet Earth.
Yeah.
What do you credit that to? Like, how was India, despite all these obstacles that were thrown in its way, was able to conduct such a successful vaccination program?
Okay, this is very funny. I mean, this is very funny, and I was told officially that's why I can share this information with you. Uh, this is how it happened. They said, "How are we going to do it?" Then one of the guys, the ICMR, they said, "See, our bureaucracy is very slow. Okay, it's slow because there is no initiative. You just give them order and they do it. You say, कि अच्छा भाई जाओ ये काम करके आ जाओ. They'll just go and exactly do what they are asked to do. They won't apply their brains. And this is a colonial system. This is the British hangover.
Yeah.
And this is the general complaint against Indian bureaucracy and the government system. They said, let's take advantage of this. Let's use this entire force, give them a goal, say today you have to go and get 5,000 people vaccinated, you go to Ladakh. So these people, I mean, see, somebody who's a thinker or somebody who has initiative or who's self-driven, motivated, he'll say, oh, I am pregnant, why should I cross the river? You know?
Yeah.
But then all these nurses and all these volunteer ladies, they said, if I'm pregnant, so what? It's a government duty, I have to go. If I have to climb the mountain, I have to climb the mountain. So they just, without even caring about anything, whether they are going to die or they're going to live, they started executing it. So what they realized that Indian bureaucracy is very good when it comes to, you give them an order, just do this. They don't care. They don't even question it. So this lethargic system was used to their advantage. And second thing they did great was they used technology very well. मैं तुम्हें एक बड़ा मजेदार किस्सा बताता हूँ. What happened? So they started using drones,
Okay.
for remote areas. So northeast there was a militant area, and they started using drones. In one place, all these terrorists, they hijacked their drones. Okay. And but when they realized that it is vaccine, they said, "Oh, it's going to save us also." And they said, "Okay, we are going to help these people." So so there are a lot of funny things. Sometimes terrorists in one region, they basically kidnapped all these people, but then they realized
Right.
that it's for vaccination. So they said, "First, give us vaccine, then we'll leave you." So
Oh
all
my
these,
God.
so things like that have happened. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Right. Wow, that's incredible. Um, you know, uh, your previous movie was the Kashmir Files. Your next movie coming up is the Vaccine War. One of the arguments that I've seen, this has been made by journalists, this has been made by intellectuals, this has been made by senior figures within Bollywood as well, senior actors, that you know the filmmakers now are making these jingoistic, hyper nationalistic movies, and that is a very worrying trend. Why is it a worrying trend? Because as far as I understand, Vivek, the average Indian is extremely proud of being an Indian.
Yeah.
The average Indian really, really loves India. So it makes complete sense that the average Indian would want to see movies that make them feel the same pride about their country that they already feel. So why is it a worrying trend that there are movies that are showcasing, India's big achievements on the global scale? Why is that a worrying trend?
What was Lagan? Okay. What was Congress fought an election on Mera Bharat Mahan?
Hmm.
Okay. And as I understand, jingoism is like there is love and there is intense, passionate, obsessive love. That's what jingoism is. Okay, but
Right.
Kashmir Files, there is no jingoism. It just shows what happened at that time. It's not that somebody has taken a flag and or taken a Hindu flag or a Indian flag and said, "अरे मैं भारत के नाम पे ऐसा कर रहा हूँ." ऐसा तो कहीं नहीं था. In this film, तो we
I
have
didn't see Mithun Chakravarti go and take POK in the name of India.
yeah.
That
So
wasn't part of the movie.
nothing of that sort. In fact, these are the
Yeah.
people who have been making jingoistic film. I know some actors who have been saying that they have been making jingoistic films. uh, and jingoism is also a matter of, it's a very subjective thing. What is jingoism to you maybe a expression to someone else, you know. I seriously don't know where is the line between jingoism and is there anything called sophisticated patriotism, or I don't know,
Right.
or very colonial style elitist these are stupid labels.
You see,
Okay.
patriotism sort of by definition, felt very passionately. See,
Yeah.
that's the whole point of patriotism, right?
Yeah, it's okay. The mother has a right to say my child is beautiful or my child is the most beautiful child in the world. I mean, it's her choice, you know. And it's not that it's a new trend. Gadar, Gadar, Gadar came 20 years ago. Nobody said it's a jingoistic movie. Now they started jingoism. See, whatever they say, it's all in the context of Narendra Modi. You take out Narendra Modi from the picture, everything becomes okay. Okay, they think that when they will use these kind of labels, okay, they can discredit or disrepute the other person. That's what they are thinking. But I don't care. My film, it's nowhere we have shown Indian flag or we have sent Bharat Mata ki Jai and all those kind of. We just shown ordinary people making the vaccine. But when you come out of the theater, you feel so great about this country. You know,
Right.
you feel so great about India. Now you can call it anything, but this time nobody can even call it jingoistic because it doesn't even talk
Right.
about patriotism.
My point would be, Vivek, that, you know, is it wrong though? Like, I would imagine that those scientists who developed, worked overnight, worked months and weeks without any sleep to make this vaccine, I'm sure they did it out of a sense of patriotic duty as well. ये मेरे देश का सवाल है, देश के लिए कर रहे हैं.
I think yeah, see, but I think scientists didn't think I think desh came second, first was humanity.
Hmm. Okay.
Okay, so I think that came first. I mean, they told me many times. Okay, they said we have to save lives. That was the first thought. We have to save lives. Of course, Indian lives. Obviously, I mean, their scope of work was only
Right.
limited to India. So obviously, Indian lives and Indians benefited. But I think it was little more than that. India actually gifted vaccines to 101 countries. It's no joke. I mean, there is no parallel to this. Whether you call it jingoism or whatever, 100 years later, nobody is going to call it jingoism. You know,
Yeah.
even you know, so things will look different a few years later or a decade later. Okay, what would have been very orthodox or very cruel in 1945 during World War II today looks like an act of humanity. You know,
Yeah.
so I think we did a great job, and we should not bother about all these India can't do it gang. We should just
Yeah.
celebrate India can do it mindset. That's what I'm trying to do with this film.
That's wonderful. And um, I want to switch gears a little bit and talk to you about, working with actors like Nana Patekar, Anupam Kher, Pallavi Joshi. These are all like, veteran actors. They've been in so many movies, so many TV shows. How is it working with veteran actors like that? How much direction do you give the actors ki aise karo, and how much freedom do you give them? Or license do you give them to interpret the role and the dialogues in their own way? Like, how do you find that balance?
See, it's like working. See, when I was doing these commercial films, these stars, you know, they are not actors, number one. So you have to spoon feed them and you have to actually hold their finger and show them where the water is. Still, they can't do it, you know. And but then I decided in my 2.0, then I decided that I have to work with brilliant actors. So when you work with intelligent, see, there are two kinds of actors. There are good actors and there are intelligent actors. So when you work with intelligent actors, they immediately understand the soul, and they take the material which is on the script, they take the character and give it life. So they are not just speaking dialogues, it's the character which is speaking dialogues, and they live with it. Nana, Pallavi, Anupam, these are the names you know, but there are other actors in this film, you'll be
Oh
surprised.
yeah.
So in this film, I had only two challenges. I didn't have to tell them how to act, okay, because they immediately understand whether they have to do realistic acting. I mean, Nana instantly knew whether he has to be Uday Shetty or he has to be Dr. Balram Bhargav. So he surrendered himself. So all these actors and intelligent actors have a great quality. They instantly surrender without any ego to the character. But my challenge was A, I had to ensure that the science they talk about looks authentic when they talk, and they have to, at every single second, they have to remember they are scientists. And the scientists working under crisis does not mean that they do panic. Normally in Hindi films, if there's a crisis, they do, all those kind of things they do. No, let's do it, hurry up, hurry up. But the real people don't do like that. When we have a crisis on our set as a director, I don't say, hey, come on, do this, do this. I work normally.
Yeah.
Okay, a surgeon doing an operation does it normally. He's because surgeon is not dying, he's an expert, that's why he's there. So I had to maintain all those kind of things, then little nuances, that with the mask how will you talk, without the mask how will you talk. So that's all I had to do, and rest these people have done. And we showed, we did a show. The first show was, we called all the scientists. And by the way, if you don't know, in this film, everybody has a real name. Nana is playing Dr. Balram Bhargo, who's Dr. Balram Bhargo in real life.
Oh
So,
wow.
oh yeah, 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 yeah. Every scientist, we are using the name, perhaps for the first time, something like this has happened. So we called all the actors and the scientists, and we made them sit together, and they just couldn't believe it. Scientists, when they saw the film, they couldn't believe it was them or the actors, and they started crying. They were overwhelmed, and they cried. In fact, Dr. Priya Abraham, Pallavi played her role. She's a Malayali, and Pallavi picked up an accent exactly like her. And after the show got over, she was crying, and she said, I can't believe, because you showed what I never told you, and which is so true about me. So yeah.
Man, that's incredible. What is your what is your experience like? Like, do you sometimes like you said you had certain experiences when you made commercial movies, and now you're working with like different kinds of actors, intelligent actors, who think very deeply about their roles and what they're doing. Um, what has the experience been like? Like, do you just sit back sometimes and just like get lost in the performance? Does that ever happen to you when you see somebody reading a line or doing a scene and you're like, goodness man, this is fantastic.
Oh yeah, yeah. See, they add value. What I say is, see, they add value. They surprise you. They bring something which you don't know. I mean, you never visualized, and that's why I'm making these kind of films, because I'm. You have to understand. I'm not a young boy, 25 year old who's in awe of stars and say, aha, mom, see, I'm in Bollywood. So I'm not. I've crossed that stage. Now I'm more matured, and
Now you're
I.
30. Now you're 30. No longer a spring chicken.
No, no, so they surprise me all the times. And see, like Pallavi, the way she says Bharat is so beautiful. I mean, it's not, doesn't sound
Yeah.
caricaturish also. It's so well balanced. Nana, when he says, I'm not telling you other scenes, but whatever you've seen in trailer, when he says, हमारी अपनी भारत की vaccine. Okay, it makes you emotional, it chokes
Yeah.
you out of happiness. Okay, here is a guy who's going to save us, so you want to believe in him. So that way, I think, my experience working with these great actors, even Mithun Chakravarti, nobody exploited him the way, he's a great actor. See, in both my films,
He is.
yeah, in both my film Tashkent Files and this one, he has brought such a new dimension to performance. He's a school by himself. So all these are,
So
yeah,
one
I.
of the things I think people didn't realize about, sorry to cut you off there, Vivek, but one of the things I think people didn't realize initially in his early career about Mithunda is what a good comedic actor he is. And comedy is not an easy thing to do.
Oh, he's.
Most people will tell you comedy is not an easy thing to do. but he's such a good comedic actor also.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Great comedian. And when
Yeah,
it comes to serious acting, he's very good. He has
yeah.
played all kinds of serious Bengali. He's got three national awards, not just like that.
Hmm.
And if you look at Agnipath, Agnipath was Agnipath, all Amitabh Bachchan movie,
Yeah,
Vijay Dinanath Chauhan and all that iconic role and great dialogues. And he was shot like huge guy, Amitabh Bachchan.
yeah,
But to steal the show with a small role is no joke.
yeah,
So see, I think is the is the surrender to the character is such a difficult quality, and it's also at the same time such a godlike quality, such a divine quality to
yeah,
be able to surrender yourself to the character. Daniel Day Lewis does that, whole lot of actors do that, that quality. De Niro has been doing it
yeah.
quite often. So I am lucky to be working with these actors.
And for a lot of aspiring filmmakers who want to make films about things that they're passionate about, I would imagine that you're an inspiration to a lot of them because you chose a topic that a lot of people thought was kind of untouchable. Like, oh, Kashmir के बारे में फिल्म मत बनाओ, फिल्म बनानी है तो एक ही तरह की बनानी है, Mission Kashmir बनानी है, and we can't talk about what happened to the Kashmiri Hindus. But it was a passion project for you. You took it, and despite all the obstacles, you made the movie. It was such an impactful movie. And so, for filmmakers, that are getting started on their journey right now, that have passion projects like that, may not have the resources, what kind of advice would you give those people?
See, first thing I would say is you should be mentally prepared. You should not have a fear of losing anything. Okay, I have only two advice to begin. Everything else is people talk, and but that is more idealistic. I would give two practical advice to people. Number one, okay, cut down your needs. Make your needs bare minimum, bare minimum. That's why you see I have just few pieces. Last all 5, 6, 10 interviews you see in last 7 days, you'll find me wearing only this. And just to change the look, I put a badge so it looks different. So do that. Have one pair of shoes, couple of socks, okay, three, four t-shirts, and just if you don't go to party, you're not going to die. You have a much larger mission on your head. You can do something better.
Hmm.
Don't smoke, don't drink. Okay, sleep less. So you have to. These are the things you have to do. I mean, imagine if somebody is going for deep diving. Okay, he has to prepare. He has to do few things. If you are going, if you want to scale Mount Everest, there are few things you have to do. You have no option. Okay, people who are going to the moon, okay, their urine is being circulated as water. So
Yeah.
you take when you I used to do mountain climbing. You breathe differently, you walk differently, so you have to do things. So you have to look at yourself like that I am going on a mission, and these are the few things I have to do, and I exactly do that. I practice that. It's not that I'm just saying it. So cut down your needs, number one. When you cut down your needs, you don't have fear to lose anything. And second thing is, don't get into this game of impressing others. The, the entire problem lies here, impressing others. Just go on to express yourself. Okay, so when you tweet and get out. Don't care about what people are writing underneath. So if I have to
Realize
care,
madness.
if I have to care about that, then I won't wake up next morning. So just say what you want to say, but be sure about that. Yes, you are willing to lose everything for what you are saying. Okay. So we lost it. See, film worked. We didn't know that. 5 years we wouldn't have put in. If we knew that film is going to work like this, we would have finished it in 6 months. So we put everything we had, and even now, whatever little money we got, we have put everything into making of this film. If this film doesn't work,
Yeah.
I am back to square one. I don't know. There will be darkness all around, and I have no plan. I can't even think what I'm going to do if this doesn't work.
Hmm.
So you have to be prepared to struggle every single time. In Hindi, if I have to say, तुम्हें रोज अपना कुआं खोदना पड़ेगा और रोज उसमें से पानी निकालना पड़ेगा.
Right. I think that's very good advice. Yeah. And before I let you go, I've been doing this rapid fire round with our guests before I let them go.
Not
So
Kejo
if you'll
style.
indulge me for 10 more minutes,
Not Kejo style.
I'll What's that? Not Kejo style. Hopefully, a little bit better, a little bit different. First question: did you have a specific inspiration for the character of Raima Sen?
Yeah, you will figure it out once you see the film. You'll know better than me. Yes.
Okay. Um, what was the funniest or most interesting thing that happened during the promotional tour of this movie so far?
Um, see, not I wouldn't say a funny thing, but strange things are happening to me. A lot of people actually coming to me and saying we are going to file FIR against this journalist. And
Oh
they're
wow.
asking me to file PILs, calling them mass murderers, which means people have been affected by this negative reporting.
Right. Um, what is the difference between promoting this, your movies in the US versus, the promotional tour in India?
Oh, there is a lot of difference. In India, life is little easier. In America, it's very difficult. The first thing you land in
Oh yeah.
America, you become a porter. So since we are flying, flying every single day, so many bags we have to carry all the times. Second
Hmm.
problem in America is that in the hotels it's very difficult to get tea. So morning tea becomes a big problem.
Oh,
In
I
India,
see.
it's oh yeah, generally they keep
Oh.
coffee, and if you're a tea drinker,
Hmm.
then it's a big problem. They keep green tea and
Right.
mint tea or lemon tea or peppermint tea, but not the real tea. So, but
Yeah.
that's not the thing. But I think people are the same. My stories are
Hmm.
not geography driven, so they are human stories, and people are the same. Like in US, we had so senators came, congressmen came, whole kind like New York, president of Republican Party of New York came, teachers came,
Wow.
scientists came. We get Syrian people, we get Jews, we get Sikhs, we get all kinds
Wow.
of people in America. America, we get a whole
Hmm.
lot of ethnic communities, and in India also. But the emotion is the same. If you see our reels, which we are putting of audience reaction,
Hmm.
whether it is Dallas or Chicago or Nagpur or Indian Institute of Management or very sophisticated Los Angeles, reactions are exactly the same. Americans, Indians, blacks, whites, Muslims, Hindus, Jains is the same reaction. So it's connecting with people. So which means it has a universal resonance.
Hmm. According to you, what is the silliest or stupidest political or cultural opinion or narrative held in India today?
That
Could be
India,
by anyone.
that India is an alliance. They believe that they are an alliance when all of them are actually enemies of each other. So I think that's
Right.
I find it very funny. I find it so funny. I don't understand how come they don't laugh at themselves, because all of them are fighting each other in every state.
Yes.
TMC wants to destroy Congress. Congress wants to destroy TMC. They're fighting Nitish. Nitish is fighting somebody else. Arvind Kejriwal is fighting Congress. I mean, this bunch of jokers or what? I mean, and they say we are an
Yeah.
alliance. And the name itself is so cringy, I can't tell you.
According to you, what is the biggest issue facing India today?
Come again, I lost you. What is?
According to you, what is the biggest issue facing India today?
I if I say it, a lot of people will say that तो को अपनी पुरानी theme लेके आ गया. But I think this entire consolidation of Islamic communist nexus, I think
Hmm.
that is working as a big danger, because from the east side, the red money is coming into India, huge sums of money. That's why you see northeast is troubled for quite some time now. And from the west side, we have a lot of this green money is coming in. So this combination of red and green money, okay, I think it's creating, and all they want is to create some kind of a mega conflict in India, so that and I think which is very very dangerous, and one has to be very very careful. And they keep, see, in ordinary life you see Hindu Muslims are not conflicting. It's but they want to pressurize and keep creating a narrative which can, if you blink, you can really lose it. So I think this inflow of green and red money is very very dangerous thing for India.
What gives you the most amount of hope for India?
uh, I don't want to sound like a political person, but I think the hope is coming from Indian women. I think if India is shining today in every field, it is because of women. If you see, the fastest growth has been, be it the finance sector, banking sector, aviation sector, service industry, media, education, law. All these young. If you, I was in High Court couple of times recently for some contempt of court case, and all the young lawyers are women, girls, you know. So in every field, science, this film which I have made, okay, the vaccine was made, 70% of them were women.
Wow.
Yeah, bioscience, in
Um,
biotechnology and bioscience, which is the most fastest growing field after artificial intelligence in the world, all women everywhere. So I think Indian women,
yes.
because the fruits of Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, or whatever, educating the girl child, is now the fruits we are seeing, the results we are seeing now.
Right. So since you're a filmmaker, let me ask you, what's your favorite genre of film?
Human drama.
Yeah.
Yeah, now I'm at a stage
Um,
in life where I like human emotions more than anything else.
what filmmaker or makers have inspired you?
Olden times, I would say Gurudat, and in modern times, I would say Shekhar Kapoor.
Oh wow. What's your current favorite movie?
I haven't seen movies in last 1.5 years. Not many movies, but last movie which I really liked was Three Idiots.
Oh wow. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a great movie.
maybe I am also a
Do you,
frustrated photographer. That's why.
right. Do you have a guilty pleasure movie or TV show that you're slightly embarrassed to admit that you love?
Crime Patrol.
Oh really? No way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Some
I
see, you know why?
I
Because
wish
we.
my mom swears by that show, so there you go.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's so cringy because every case they solve on phone. Anything, get the phone calls and they say, okay, the case solved, and that's how I like it. But
Yeah.
the best part of that show is you can start anywhere and you can end anywhere. It doesn't, you can see it for 15 minutes, get out of it, doesn't matter.
Yeah, yeah. What movie does everyone like, but you don't?
I won't like to name them. There are a whole lot of movies, or especially all these movies which are doing like 1,000 crore rupee business. Okay,
Uh,
so all these movies, I mean, if they are doing 1,000 crore rupee business, means every single person is liking them and loving them. So I feel very lonely. Maybe I am the only one who's not liking them.
what will be the name of a movie that is made about your life?
Mm, Disruptor.
Ah, a good name. Um, what real life character, current or historical, would you like to really see a movie or TV show made about?
Actually, I am making a movie on the Delhi Files. I am making on a character who fascinated me a lot. His name is Gopal
Okay.
Patha. Gopal Patha.
Oh wow. Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah. Tell us more
very
about him.
underrated. Nobody talks about him much. If you have seen a film called Gandhi, have you seen Gandhi? Richard Attenborough's. In that, if you see a scene, Gandhi goes to Bengal and he says, "Okay, surrender all your arms," because there were a lot of riots after Direct Action Day, and Om Puri comes and he finally surrenders, which was fake, which was a British lie. Okay, it never happened like that. This guy never surrendered, and he told Gandhi on his face that even if I used my nail, quote unquote, he said that, and it's on BBC, it's recorded. He said, even if I used my nail to save my brothers and sisters, I won't surrender that to you. Okay,
Wow.
and the only, so I, what fascinates me is that, imagine the towering personality of Gandhi and Nehru's and Patel's and Subhash Chandra Bose and the British police and the British administration and everything. And Direct Action Day, you should Google. In fact, if you want, when you edit the show, you can put some pictures here. You type direct action day and see the pictures. They are only roads are full of skeletons, okay,
Yep.
and there are vultures sitting on the roofs, hounding over. It's Time magazine or New York Times pictures.
Yeah.
In that scenario, when all the Hindu community was butchered and 10,000 people were killed overnight, at that time to come out, a very shy, a very feeble guy, okay, to go and unite Sikhs, Marwadis, Jains, all kinds of different ethnic communities together, and then to go and defend their own community to such an extent that ultimately the enemy party had to surrender. I think that is one. So when people say that we fought, we found our freedom with non-violence, this is, I think it's the biggest lie. And to expose this lie, I thought that I must use this character very honestly. So in the Delhi Files, I am going to show Gopal Patha perhaps for the first time to non-Bengali audience.
Wow, that's amazing. I'm very happy that that person is getting their moment in the sun. Um, what is your favorite genre of music and your current favorite song to listen to?
Yeah, I like all kinds of music. I
Yeah.
actually I
Is there
seriously
any song that you're listening to a lot
right now for
recently?
last 1 month, I am just listening to Games of Thrones background score. Here right now you
Oh
can check.
wow.
अभी आप मैं plane में भी you know why? Because that orchestration, I'm trying to figure out that how they arrived at such a this kind of orchestration and arrangement, and I'm just seeing, and
Right.
also because now vaccine war is over, and I am on to the Delhi Files, and for me it is very important before I start any film to find the sound. Like for example, the vaccine war, before I started, I found the sound of this Srishti se pehle sat nahi tha. I bought rights of that. So I'm trying to find sound, and somehow I'm getting very fascinated with this, and something will come out of this. That's what I'm listening to. And the second thing I'm listening to is one ghazal called मोहब्बत करने वाले कम ना होंगे तेरी महफिल में लेकिन हम ना होंगे. So
Oh.
this is
Who's it by?
even I don't know. Lots of people have sung it.
Okay.
Farida Khanum has sung it. Then Ghulam Mehndi Hassan has also sung it. A whole lot of people have sung it. So Games of Thrones and Mehndi Hassan both
Wow.
play together.
It's a good music combo. Um, favorite book that you've read in the last year or so?
Um, um, I mean, it's funny, but the last book I've been reading or I just read is called Burn. Okay, it's about though it may sound it's about calories, but not really. It's not about fat and all that. It's just basically about how your body burns calories and what happens. It's a science. So I'll tell you what. There is this guy called Manu Joseph. He's a author, he's a columnist. He wrote about it. So I downloaded the
Okay.
book recently because I've been traveling in US. So I downloaded and I said, let me see why Manu Joseph is talking about it. If Manu listens to this podcast, I'll send a link. He will be fascinated. But then it's such a wonderful book. I mean, after 4 pages, 5 pages, I got into reading it, and now I'm last 10 or 20 pages are left. That's what I'm reading. And besides that, I've been reading Vedanta a lot
Okay.
in last 1 year or so. Yeah.
Since you're from Madhya Pradesh, you had a bit of trouble in MP. According to you, what is MP's best town?
Bhopal, it's India's best town.
Oh, hey. Let's get you in trouble nationally then.
But
Um,
Bhopal is the most beautiful city in India. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I've never been. I'd love to go to Bhopal.
Oh,
I've
yeah,
seen
yeah.
very, very nice things. I have a couple of
Very
friends
a
really
sleepy
from Bhopal.
town with beautiful lakes, dense forests, and very, very little traffic, not too much of traffic. And it's little rocky and hills, so if it rains, the water flows down. Yeah, and very simple people, no thieves and no pickpockets or no stupid people. Yeah.
What part of Madhya Pradesh has the best food, according to you?
Indore.
Yeah.
Yeah, Indore street food is fascinating. It's amazing, out of this world. Yeah.
your go-to food? If you had to choose one food that you can eat anytime, what is it?
Apple.
Really?
Oh yeah, because I travel a lot. See, I travel a lot,
Ah,
and now so you get very bad food at the airports and everywhere. You know, very
yeah.
unhealthy food you get everywhere. So I just carry two things with me. I carry makhana, roasted makhana, and
Ah,
I always carry one fruit, any fruit for that, except for banana. I eat lots of fruits, but then you can't carry a watermelon with you. So apple is easy. Just put it in your pocket or in your bag, and you can eat it anywhere,
yeah.
anytime, and looks cool if you are eating apple. A lot of people think you are a health freak, which I am not.
um, and after Madhya Pradesh, according to you, which state has the best
Has the best.
food?
I would say UP. You know,
Mm,
UP, I find that you get all kinds of food. If you want unhealthy fried
yeah,
food, you get that. If you want sattvic food, you get it. If you want religious, spiritual kind of food, you get that. If you want plain, simple dal chawal, so UP has a lot of variety, you know. Maybe because
yeah,
and you get biryani also, and you get good mutton also. You get tunde ke kebabs also. So it has a whole lot of range. I think it's because there were a lot of influence in UP, all kinds of
yeah.
influence, Punjabi influence, Sikh influence, Sindhi influence. So that's why I think UP has. Whereas if you go to Karnataka, you get only certain kind of food.
Yeah.
Then also one place, two cities are out of this world when it comes to food: Bombay, Mumbai, sorry, and Kolkata.
Oh, acha.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Kolkata, I haven't really experimented with food much.
Street food,
But
great
but
street
but
food, Chinese food, Indian Chinese food, Thai food, all kinds of food. Calcutta
hmm.
is really good, yeah.
Last couple of questions. An interesting or funny fact about you that maybe a lot of people might not know.
What people may not know is that I am a very, very introvert person.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
that would be hard to
Yeah,
tell. Yeah, that's hard to
it's
tell.
very hard to tell, but you may not know. I mean, I am always out for 15 days to 1 month without TV, phones, friends, anybody. I'm locked alone. And when I'm not performing for my job, like I'm talking to you right now,
Yeah.
then I just hate people. I don't want to see anybody. Yeah.
I can relate to that. I live in a very small town in the US, and very purposefully I chose to live here because I like cities fine, but after a while I kind of start feeling a little claustrophobic. And here I feel like अच्छा चलो जगह है.
Yeah, even I'm not a I don't like cities. I don't like big places,
Yeah,
but I have to live it, but I've learned to live, but I don't like cities, yeah.
right. And final question: what can you tell us about the Delhi files?
Two things I can tell you. We are still, research is over, but I'm still writing it. Uh,
Sure.
One thing is for sure, I think in India, the partition never stopped. Okay,
Hmm.
the hangover of partition still goes on. If not true, why do we have Kashmir? Why do we have unrest in Bengal? Why do we unrest in Kerala? Why did we have Gujarat? Why did we have Babri? Why did we have Shaheen Bagh? And we have a history of riots happening every week, every month, somewhere or the other, which means this issue is not settled. Okay, the issue for which partition took place never got settled.
Yeah.
दो भाइयों में झगड़ा हो गया, बंटवारा हो गया, बीच में दीवार तो खड़ी कर दी, लेकिन वो दीवार में दोनों तरफ से गाली दे रहे हैं एक दूसरे को और पत्थर फेंक रहे हैं, विच मीन द इशू नेवर गॉट सेटल्ड. सो दैट वॉल हैज़ नो मीनिंग, द पार्टीशन हैज़ नो मीनिंग. वॉट इज बिहाइंड दैट? Why is it happening? What is that mindset? Who's doing it?
Hmm.
So Delhi Files basically is a journey from the Direct Action Day 1946 in Bengal. I realized when we were researching that when we think of partition, we think only of Punjab, because that is in
Hmm.
popular literature, popular culture, that is what is most visible. But the
Yeah.
foundation of partition is in Bengal. Do you know that Bengal was divided, partition first, then again it was united?
Yeah.
That was Britishers did, and that's how divide and rule things started. So direct action day where tens of thousands of people were killed, then Noakhali happened in Bengal, then after that so many things happened. From there, the movie begins and hopefully will end at Shaheen Bagh, the Delhi riots. and in between whatever India has gone through or Bharat has gone through, you will see that. Um, and also, I feel the unfortunate part is, Shyam, that in India, this India Bharat thing is a real debate. It's not a fake debate. Okay, India
Yeah.
is people who identify themselves with India, people who always say India, 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 and there are people who never use the word India, and they are more Bharati in their own mindset. India has constantly in last 75 years tried to defeat Bharat.
Mm.
It's a loaded sentence, but when you'll see the film, you'll understand what I'm trying to say. So, and it has got nothing to do with this current debate about the name. I'm not in favor of changing the name at all. Okay, I'm not saying change the name, but yes, there is a clear-cut divide. People living in South Delhi or Breach Candy, and and people living in Gorakhpur or in Fulwara or
Yeah.
in Amritsar, or sorry, in Patiala, are very different in their approach and
Mm.
thinking and customs and traditions and style of living. So, and but the
Yeah.
other people is the people in Breach Candy are always trying to show down these people. Hey, you don't know how it works.
Mm.
The same people who said that foreign vaccines are superior to Indian vaccines. So so there was in my film there's a dialogue where Nana says, अगर भारत बायोटेक में भारत नहीं होता और इंडियन काउंसिल ऑफ मेडिकल रिसर्च में इंडिया नहीं होता तो आपको हमारी वैक्सीन बहुत अच्छी लगती.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a very good point. Um, well, I won't take too much more of your time, Vivek, but I do want to thank you for taking the time. I know you have a very busy schedule, so I do appreciate you taking the time and talking to me today. Hopefully, wasn't too much of a drag and you had a good time.
No, it's always a delight to talk to you because you are a very different kind of a podcaster, and I really love your vibes and everything. And keep doing great work. I laugh a lot when I see some of your shows, especially the meme section. Okay, and I told you last time also, I wish sometime you'll invite me in that show also and make me a part of that party. But let me release the
Well,
film
let's do
first.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
I'll do it. As soon as
post
you have some
release,
time spare now, we'll do it.
after we release the film, let's see how it goes. If it works, I'll come and laugh with you. If it doesn't work, still we'll laugh with you.
Yes, we'll have a good time regardless. I'm very certain this film will do very well. This is a topic that is dear to a lot of people, and I'm very glad that this has been showcased in a major motion picture. So I'm very happy. We're rooting for you. So all the very best to you and to the vaccine files, to everybody involved in making the movie as well. And yeah, wish you nothing but the best. And again, all the best for the rest of the tour as well.
Thank you very much, and just make a promise next time when I come to US, come and see the film.
100%. Yeah, 100%. Without the shadow of a doubt. I apologize इस बार नहीं हो पाया, but
No, it's okay.
that is my promise.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah.